Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica, and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to basically share with you 5 things that were kind of like culture shocks for me since moving to South Africa. So, I am from Mississippi in the United States, and my family and I relocated here to the Johannesburg of South Africa a few months ago. And since being here, we've had an incredible time, and there are just some things that I am getting adjusted to that I thought would be really cool to share about, because I do get a lot of questions like what's the biggest like culture shock. So I thought in this video I'd share with you some of the things that I have found to be a bit of a culture shock. But before I get into that, look at this beautiful view behind me. This is um, I wanted to show it because I know a lot of times people don't always think, or like where I'm from, like a lot of times they don't know how beautiful that this place can be. Um, and it's an absolutely beautiful place. I'll do a bigger like tour of the yard like in some future videos, but um, in this video I do want to just focus on like what are 5 things that I found to be a culture shock. So the first thing that I found to be um, a bit of a culture shock, and by the way, culture shock is not like a big one because if you're coming from the U.S., you would adjust here pretty well. So these are just some things that I just like took me a minute to be like, oh, it's just different here. So the first thing is the not having top sheets. So, you know how in the States we have, when we buy our sheets, there's like the bottom sheet, that hugs the mattress, and then there's the top sheet that we have, and then usually on top of that we have like maybe a blanket or a comforter or something like that. Well, when we first moved here, I went to like 3 stores buying sheets, asking for top sheets but not getting top sheets. And I'm like, why are they selling me this thing that is not a top sheet? That's because they don't have top sheets here. That is not a thing. Like, but what they call a top sheet is actually, I forget what the term is for it, but it's basically like a covering for the comforter that you can take off and wash, or and they would call it a duvet. So that was, that was very new. It took me a while. I eventually had to go on Google and say, do they have top sheets in South Africa? Because I went to 3 particularly linen stores. Then I went to like other stores like Game and a few other stores to just try to see, um, do they sell sheets? And I'm like looking, they do not sell top sheets. So that was a bit of a culture shock. And so I also want to let you know, if you come here and whether you're moving or visiting, and you're from the States and you're used to having, like the thin sheet, you're not gonna find it. And it's actually kind of funny too, because when we bought the first couple of sets, my son, with he has a full, what we would call a full size bed. He was like trying to fit that duvet covering on the mattress, and so our housekeeper was like, what is this? Because it doesn't fit. He ended up cutting, and it was partially my idea too. I was like, cut this side so it could fit, but it doesn't go on the mattress, because we were just confused. We were like, what is this? Because it has like the buttons on the side that, because so that you can secure it on the comforter. So basically it goes on the comforter, but we were trying to put it on the mattress. That's just how confused we were about what the heck is this thing that they're calling a top sheet. So yeah, it again, bring your own top sheets. Maybe you can order it online from a place, but just be careful, because you may not like, if you put in top sheet, you may not get what you're thinking, how I was thinking. So yeah, that was funny. And now what we do is, we actually, my husband and I, with our bed, we use the duvet, because we like sheets, right? So we use the duvet covering, because we have these like Egyptian cotton sheets, really really comfortable. We use that as our top sheet. So there you go. Okay, so then the second culture shock would be, or just things that they do differently. are with the napkins. So when you go out, like you're gonna get, if you're going out to eat or you're buying something to eat, you're gonna get one napkin. Okay, maybe two. They don't really do the napkin thing, which we us and some of other Americans are we were having to adjust to. We were actually laughing about. We were like, wow, if you want to have um, napkins, like you have to like really be intentional about getting more, because you're not like, they just don't give you, one. It's just one napkin. That's all you get, or two, like I said. So that's been different, and it's like that across the board. So yeah, that's a bit of a shock. You know how in the States you can just grab a bunch of them. When I have an opportunity, I do grab a lot of them if they're just available. So I'm like, look, I need more than this one to two napkins. Okay, but yeah, so that's different. They also have like I don't even know how you pronounce it, Suvette, I think, but it's like a wet wipe, and I'm like, okay, thanks. But yeah, so that's a bit different. The third thing that's I would say is a bit of a shock or different is what they call the Lobola, which I actually think it's really cute, actually sweet and endearing, and I love it about their culture, but it is different to me. And that's basically what we would call like a dowry. And so when the man is interested in marrying a woman, he must go and negotiate the Lobola, which is basically, you know, money paid to the his fiance's family to have her. It's not paying for her. I shouldn't phrase it like that. It's basically like the way one of my South African friends described it is it's a way of showing appreciation for raising my wife for me, and all the money that was committed to her private school education, um, her staying pure, her being just a great woman, a wonderful young woman. Here's my appreciation for her, and I just think it's so beautiful because it's actually like it's like a whole theatrics, and they love it. Um, because it's not just the guy that's negotiating it. I think it's also like his brother or like his uncle or someone really close to him who's negotiating it with him to her family. So yes, I think that's really, really, really sweet. And then her family gets to be like, nope, not enough. It's something that it just shows like the appreciation, I guess, like I said, for the female, and it's a beautiful like exchange. So, but that's definitely been a culture shock for sure. Not something that's very normal or that happens at all. We're back in the States. All right, so that's three. The fourth thing that is a culture shock, or just different from what I'm used to, is like how many kids are sent to boarding school. So, like, boarding school is okay. So in the States, boarding school is like it it's a stigma around it. It kind of means you don't really want to keep your child, or like something, like there's just something up there. But here, it's like if the family can afford it, they'll do it. And I mean, not something our family would ever do, but I think it's really cool, and it's definitely very different that they send their children off to boarding school. So they're like there at this school, they're living at this school, they come home for like holidays. So that's all I'm going to say about it. I don't want to inject my opinion in it too much because it doesn't matter. It's not my life, but it is very, very, very different, right? So it just took me a minute to be like, you send your child to boarding school, because of the mindset that I'm coming from. Like, that just means you don't want your child with you, but it's not what it means. So yeah, so that's been a bit of a culture shock. And the final thing that has, well, I won't say it's the final, but for this video, it'll be the last one that I list, and then I'll do another one if you all are finding this interesting. But the final one that I will mention in this video is how comfortable, like being a Black American, like just how comfortable Black people can be. Or, okay, I'm going to just say it. How Black men can just sit around and it's okay, and it's not like seen as a threat. So you have to, if you've never been here, it's just very different. You have to see it. But when I'm out and about, like, people are just walking all the time. And I say black men in particular because in the US, like, it's just not a thing to see black people walking like I see them here, but especially black men. And I don't know if because most, they lock them up or they just try to keep them in their segment, but here, or their little section or whatever, but you don't hear, like, black men are just everywhere. Like, and it's not seen as suspicious activity or a threat or something to be afraid of. That's different, and it's very refreshing to see that. The black, and I think I'll expand on it too. It's the black women, like, it's just they have the babies wrapped around them. It's just such a strong family environment. It's just, I think it's just, there's a lot to it, a lot to unpack there. But to just see the black people just walking, as I said, freely going about their way, heading to work, heading to the shops, going wherever they're going. Like I say, black men just sitting around, working. And when I say sitting around, it's just existing. That's what it is. They're just existing. And it's not seen as, oh, I need to clench my purse, or or oh my God, something, here is, dangerous. It's not seen as a fearful or threatening activity, them just existing. That is a culture shock, and it's also very refreshing. So that's all I have for this video. I'll be uploading more. Um, Again, I am in north of Johannesburg, in South Africa, and I hail from the state of Mississippi in the United States. And my family of we're six of us. We have been here for several months now, and we are very grateful to have come here and to see the people and to see the differences. And we're really glad to be a part of it, and we're looking forward to being able to connect and help grow in this, help contribute to this place as we can. So yeah, again, I'll have some more videos coming up soon, and I appreciate you taking a watch, and I'll see you in the next video.